Hello, it's Lee Cassidy from Tactile Technology. A little bit later than normal because I've been at an event the last 3 days at the World Servitization Conference. It's actually a VFairs online event, and we had some technical issues previously, but I've also had some technical issues actually getting the stream to work. When we did the stream yesterday with Ross Cooper-Smith, it seemed to go out correctly to all platforms except for LinkedIn Live for some reason, so we may be still having some issues there. So I'm hoping you're seeing the video as well as the audio. I'm trying to monitor it at the same time. It's like all these things, if it's live, you don't know about it until after the event, so I'm trying to work out if you can actually see it. So let me just check and see if I can see myself and the activity on there, and then hopefully that will show us if it's actually working. Yes, I see. It looks like we're live again. I had to make some changes to get it to work, so there was some issues with it. So, right, in the title I've put in there, more than the sum of the parts. And it comes from a conversation I had with an organisation yesterday and also one last week about where they are at the moment with their infrastructure and what they're trying to achieve and what outcomes they get from it. And commonly with people, if they're looking at monitoring, they're actually looking at the infrastructure and that's all they see. So they see the infrastructure, and if the infrastructure breaks, they get some kind of event to understand that the infrastructure is broken. The biggest issue they've got is understanding whether that affects some kind of service. So if you're an e-commerce provider, and it costs you, if you lose service for an hour and it's 100,000 or even, £1 million for that hour in lost revenue, wouldn't it be good to understand whether the actual service has been degraded, if you're losing a significant amount of transactions or all transactions, and wouldn't it be good to point you to where that issue is, so that in future you can maybe bolster that particular area as well to ensure that it doesn't happen again, because none of us want a bottleneck in our system, a weak link in there that's going to be the issue when we have problems. So I think that's one thing to look at, is what else you get, from your infrastructure monitoring. Can you understand what's happening with that service? But also think about who is interested in that. Because if you consider it, there are a number of people that might be interested in that. So as an example, if you're delivering a service to your own infrastructure, to your own organisation for e-commerce, it would be very interesting to your business and the business people in there to understand how you're delivering that service. How available it is, if it's causing issues with reputation because it's slow when people log on there and they can't get to anything, and understanding that. But also, if you're a service provider and you provide an e-commerce platform to a third party, there's two things there. So one is, when you're actually delivering that service, wouldn't it be good for that organisation, your customer, to know in real time the availability, but also the health of that infrastructure, so they can understand if you're delivering it efficiently enough to them, but also if there is a problem, they can actually see how quickly you can respond to that and deliver a fix and get them back up and running before there's a loss. But then coming back to your own people, wouldn't it be good to be able to go to new customers and be able to say, not only do we deliver you an e-commerce platform, but we also provide you with the metrics and the live information to understand how effective and how efficient that system is, rather than just a blind report that comes out once a week or once a month giving you some transactional volume and availability. Wouldn't it be good to actually understand in real time that service is being delivered, and also have notifications if there are any issues, even though it's not your infrastructure as such, you're buying a service from a third party to deliver it. It could be that infrastructure is within a cloud environment as well. It could be within Amazon Web Services. It could be within Microsoft Azure. It could also be in Google's cloud platform as well, or a combination of them. So having that visibility of that service, how it's been delivered to the customers, and that transactional nature of it as well, would be really important, I think, in selling to new customers, as well as retaining existing customers and ensuring you're doing what you need to in that space. The third thing, which is a little bit different, is a lot of people are locked into their current infrastructure. So whether that's on premise, they've spent a large amount of money on it, and they're stuck with it for a long time. Also, if people go into a cloud environment, commonly they're going to get cloud lock-in there as well, and it's going to be difficult for them to move out of there. But what if you could actually monitor the infrastructure that you've got across both on-premise and in cloud from a performance perspective? And if you migrate it, you've got a baseline performance metric to understand what a transaction looks like normally on an on-premise and what it looks like in, say, one of the public cloud environments, to do a comparison from a performance perspective. But also having a look at it from a price performance, because what you can do is effectively break down the cost of your on-premise infrastructure and identify what cost that is per transaction. And you can actually gather those metrics within that infrastructure and build out some costings to show you exactly what the service is costing you delivered on your own infrastructure. But also, if you then took that infrastructure and put it into a cloud environment, a part of that process, you could validate your current costs, and you could also do some alerts, so events and notifications based on any increases in that cost. Because it's really difficult when you've got thousands of virtual machines or containers that run across a sprawled set of infrastructure, maybe multiple data centers with that cloud provider. And each one of them is generating transactional volume, which creates a bill to you. So a massive number of items in there. Having the ability to actually cost that out and also then set a threshold on that to say, if the cost of this infrastructure goes beyond this, do that. So it could be just to notify you so you know that you've actually gone above your normal cost profile for that infrastructure. Or you could actually use it to maybe move that workload, especially if you can replicate the data from that workload, into a different provider and actually reduce your cost in it that way. So you wouldn't be locked in then to that cloud provider going forward. None of these things are from a technical perspective. These are business-led decisions. So understanding the cost of your infrastructure and where it resides, and understanding the performance and the availability of it, is a business thing. And a lot of people look at technical infrastructure and monitoring of it purely from a technical perspective, but actually you're really missing out on something that could really make a big difference to the business if you don't look at the business aspects, business mapping, and also that cost analysis and performance analysis for those different environments. This is becoming even more important as we're moving into this hybrid cloud era, that we've got infrastructure that could be run anywhere, especially if you're using containerized workloads. And we must really start to understand our costs and our performance profiles across those different environments. Hopefully that's been of interest to you. I'm up at my usual 10 to 15 minute point. I don't want to stretch it out too long. I kicked off a little bit later because of the technical issues, and also because I was in this panel on a conference with the Worldwide Servitization Conference. So it was a little bit late kicking off as well. But if that's generate any thoughts and you want to talk about it more, put a comment in the post. If you don't want other people to see it, contact me directly. Quite happy to talk about things. I'm not out to go out and just sell you infrastructure. What I want to do is I want you to understand what your position is, what value you can get from other ways of doing things. And my quote of the week at the moment, I've used it multiple times, is one from Albert Einstein, is that logic will get you from A to B, but imagination can get you anywhere. And I think that's really important to be more imaginative in the way you do things. Think about things a little bit more out of the box. I know it's an old adage that people say this, thinking out of the box, but I think having a bit more imagination in the way that you do things and really thinking about what impacts you personally and your business at the moment, and how a solution like this could actually improve that, I think is really important. Again, contact me if you want to speak about it personally. Contact me through the comments if you'd like to ask any questions about what can be achieved and how it can be done and the benefits that you might get from it. But also, tomorrow's our Tactile Tech Thursday, so join me at 3 o'clock tomorrow. We'll be talking about what we're doing as a business to help ourselves and what we deliver to our customers using these type of technologies as well. Right, thank you very much.